I designed and built Woody, but in actual fact, Woody more involved than anything else. When I first realised I needed to look at a scooter, I decided to look around and see what was available. These were fantastic. The terrain hopper. Brilliant scooter, well designed, well constructed, but so expensive. I really liked these scooters. These are different. It's a Horizon Mayan, I think it's called, but it's a scooter apart, and this I really liked, and if I had the money I would buy one of these, but at £12,000 it's way out of my budget. I adore TWS terrain hoppers. To me these things are fabulous, but once again too expensive, especially for me. I couldn't afford one. I looked at these sport riders. A couple of my friends have got them, and they're not bad scooters at all, but even so, not as highly priced as the others, but still out of mind. I kept coming back to this gorgeous, well-made, well-designed scooter that had a major difference. The difference served as a precedent for the construction of Woody, and the principles in the structure of this four-wheel scooter were used in the construction of my three-wheel scooter. This is more what I could afford, and this is what I actually bought. And here is the actual scooter that I bought. The thing that I liked, front-wheel drive. The thing that I didn't like, everything else. It's a pretty basic scooter, but at the price of £700, I think, that was on the cards. And this, with a tool box on the back of it, was the start of my mobility scooter journey. I sold it, and I bought one of these for 50 quid. It was fire damaged. The lithium batteries had burst into flame, destroyed the scooter, but the front was intact, and I bought it for the motor, the forks, that riser bar for the steering, and a lot of the controls, and that's where Woody started. I took angle grinders to it, and I begged, steel and borrowed all sorts of metal to build it, and this was Woody Mark 1. Loved it to bits. Lousy brakes, suspension wasn't right, quite a lot wrong with it, but it got me around, and I started to get round places. I didn't get very far. Those awful brakes were always an issue, and the reason it wouldn't go very far was it had lead acid batteries. Whether you call them AGMs or gel batteries, they're all lead acid. They're too heavy, they're inefficient, they don't store enough electricity, and no place on a mobility scooter. I chucked them out, and that space got filled up with lithium ion. The lithium ion batteries, they're being charged up 48 volt, 15. Oh no, they were 15 or 20. I think they're 48 volt, 30 amp battery, and I got up towards 30 miles on a charge, which was a lot better. You can see the motors inside the wheels, and that really ineffective disc brake was pretty bad design. Did a lot of this while I was building, and ended up with Woody Mark 1 improved with better braking, better battery. This particular one has got two 48 volt 20 amp batteries in it, and I used one battery to go somewhere, and when the electricity ran out I switched over to the other battery, and I knew I was going to get back home. Dual batteries work extremely well. I could get now a decent mileage, decent range, and get myself into the countryside. This was brilliant. It still wasn't right. I needed something that was lighter if I was going to increase the battery and the range. And the key was an aluminium frame. and this is where Woody changed. I got about as far as I could get with Woody Mark 1, and to be honest, I was stumped. And I decided that Woody was going to have an aluminium frame. Hi guys, thought you might like to have a look, see what's happening to Woody. This is Woody at the moment. As you can see, it's well, a stripped down frame. This is the mild steel frame that was the main chassis for Woody. It's heavy because it's mild steel. It really does. Oh, strength! It really does weigh a lot for such a little thing. Bits lying all over the place. Seats down there. Lots of wiring, which I'm going to reuse. A lot of the XT60 connectors. Quite a bit of the stuff, in actual fact. The braking system's going to change. This is the original foot brake that I designed and engineered and put on here, which is not going to be used again. Micro switch there, I might use that, but I won't need the master cylinder, and I won't need the ram bit there. So the handlebars are going to be both the front and back brakes. I can see in the future I might not be able to use the foot brake as well as I have done in the past, so that's going to have to change. This is the front, which is all going to be reused pretty well, as you see it there. Had to make a machine to produce the dashboard. The dashboard is here. I found a nice piece of mahogany, and I've been busy machining it out with that thing that I made. Nice piece of brass, nice piece of mahogany, so none of your plastic stuff on this scooter. I'm going to change the mud guards and they're plastic, but I never know, might be able to find some aluminium ones somewhere. These are Harley Davidson handlebar levers, which are going to be the front and the back brake. Front on one side, back brake on the other side. These are Harley Davidson light alloy levers. They're been modified. I've got micro switches fitted to them, so when you use them, the micro switch switches off the motors, so it's electric scooter, mobility scooter compliant. The throttle is a Harley lookalike. Look at that Chinese on there, I didn't realise that. So I've got to work out if that is 1, 2 and 3. We'll find out when I use them. So that's the Harley lookalike throttle, but it's an electric mobility scooter throttle. Harley handlebars, which are nice big heavy duty 1-inch things. So it's going to look something like that when it's up and running, which would be quite nice, I think. So Harley handlebars, Harley brake levers. You'll hardly be able to recognise it. The suspension units, the ones I've got on are little 6-inch ones, but these bad boys are lovely. So they're going to be updated quite a bit. Just got to work out how to fit them properly. The handlebar controls going to be on the handlebars, the horn, high, low beam, and the indicators. These are smashing. On the one side, when you're driving along, you press right to go right and left to go left, and they self-release, of course, so you can't leave the damn things on, which I have done. Bearings for the swinging arm. That's going to be the swinging arm. The motors, these are Woody's rear motors. What holds them on
is this little half shaft. And what you normally do is have two bits of metal that clamp the half shaft. It's got two flats on the things, as well as a thread. I've never found that entirely satisfactory, so I designed these. This screws onto that half shaft, and is the motor's then secured with these M10 stainless steel bolts that go into there, and that goes into the back axle assembly. So this is should be that way around. So there'll be another one of these on the other side, and one motor screws into that and is secured, and this is bolted into the back axle. That's a nice piece of tube for the swinging arm, and those bearings, I've got to machine the bearings into the shaft, so that's all right. The forks need overhaul, so I've got new seals for the forks. What else is there? Oh, some nice new power transmission for the motors, and all these lovely things here will be holding the handlebars in place. That's a battery, that's a battery, that's a battery, and that's a battery in the box. 80 amps worth of lithium 50-volt batteries. Should be quite powerful. Bits of wire which I'll need, because although I'm going to use a lot of the old stuff, that's the rear light assembly and the number plate, of course. But that's just what I'm at the moment. I miss my scooter. The front motor, is nothing wrong with that. It's all going back together. It's just that chassis that's getting changed to aluminium. Make Woody a lot lighter and a lot better over rough ground, the chase. But at the moment, I haven't got a scooter. But there we go, folks. That's where we're at the moment.
As you can see, construction has now started and things can really get underway. Don't let anybody tell you that wiring a scooter is easy. It isn't. It's flipping hard. All I can say about this stage is, it's flipping dreadful. But anyway, with all the wiring sorted out, here we have Woody Mark II. It's got 4 54 volt 20 amp batteries. The motors are 48 volt 800 watt, all 3 of them, and their batteries are used in 2 sets of 2. One battery supplies power to the front motor and one battery supplies power to the back motor, and when those 2 batteries are depleted, you switch over to the other 2. So now I can get up to 30 miles away from home, turn the batteries over, and I know I can get 30 miles back to home. 30 miles, 60 miles total range might be a bit sort of hopeful. The way I ride Woody, it's probably going to be near 25 and 25, so 50-mile range. But let's just talk about the batteries. Woody has aluminium, is an aluminium frame, and the top of the batteries is aluminium, so the batteries are encased in an aluminium box. There is damage protection underneath, so there are sacrificial bits of metal that will collapse if there's an impact before the batteries are a thing. But the batteries are encased in cushion foam, but aluminium conducts heat pretty well, and it sort of works to keep the batteries as cool as possible. And when batteries are this big in a little scooter, you do need to make sure that they stay as cool as they can do. There is a couple of isolator switches here which move the batteries, turn off the batteries that have used the power and turn the batteries on that have got the power in reserve. To keep an eye on the temperature, the red readout is the front pair and the blue readout is the rear pair. So I can keep an eye on what the temperature is doing. Here we changed the suspension. The original suspension I bought, too stiff. This is air ride suspension. It's very adjustable, and I've got it nice and soft and squashy, so it's a lot better ride. And that means here's Woody Mark II. I did think perhaps the mudguards are a bit high, but the road ahead looks really good, and I think my future journey is going to be quite an interesting one. So there we go, folks.